You ever notice how the people who look the most put together are sometimes the absolute best at making your life a living hell? Yeah, I found that out the hard way, right? In the middle of Meadow Creek, where the lawns are green, the smiles are tight, and the gossip spreads faster than St. Augustine grass in a Florida summer. I mean, you'd think a place like this would be heaven, but let me tell you, the devil wears a pastel sweater set and goes by Karen Albright. Yeah, that Karen. The one who can weaponize a bake sale and turn your mailbox color into a federal case. Now, I never set out to make enemies, you know. I'm more of a keep to myself, help if you ask kind of neighbor. For the first few years after Karen and her family moved in across the street, it was just the usual neighbor stuff. Borrowed sugar, the odd basketball in the roses, her Wi-Fi cutting out so often, I started to wonder if she thought I was running a free hotspot. No big deal. Until slowly, those friendly requests turned into expectations. The kind where you feel rude for saying no, even though she's the one showing up in your backyard like she owns the place. And speaking of backyard, that was my sanctuary. My husband Mark and I worked like dogs to build this little oasis. A pool with a waterfall, real flagstone, the works. It was where I could actually breathe for 5 minutes, where my daughter could have friends over, where we could forget for a while that HOA fines exist. But in Karen's mind, our pool wasn't ours at all. It was just an extension of her own yard, a free amenity. It started with her son Leo hopping the fence to grab a toy. Then there were play dates that magically became the whole swim team's coming hope you don't mind. And she never really asked. It was always, oh, Leo's just popping over for a dip. Like I was the lifeguard at her personal water park. So one day I put up a taller fence, real subtle, and I told her straight up that our pool was private. She smiled, God, that smile, like she was humoring a toddler. Well, we'll see about that. And I guess we did. That's when the little things started. Dog poop in the yard. Nobody in either house owns a dog, by the way. Sprinklers turning on full blast during a thunderstorm. Privacy shrubs suddenly butchered just on our side. Mark tried getting stern, I tried being reasonable, but she just played innocent, perfect victim, never a hair out of place. Then I saw the flyer and I swear my heart just about stopped. Pinned up at the grocery store, bright as Vegas pool party at Leo's place, biggest bash of the summer, 1422 Sycamore Lane. That's our address. Not Karen's, not Leo's, ours. The whole school was invited to party in my backyard, and nobody asked me a damn thing. That was it. That was open war. I stormed home, threw that flyer on the table, and Mark, usually unflappable, looked like he'd swallowed a golf ball. She's finally lost it, he muttered. I could see he was ready to go over there and raise hell, but something in me snapped in a different way. I said, let me handle it. Because after years of little jabs, I wanted the knockout. That Saturday, cars started rolling up at 12:55 sharp. Teens piling out in swim trunks, music thumping, everybody looking for the party. I watched from the kitchen window, tea in hand, pulse pounding. One lanky kid with a lip ring rings the bell. Is this Leo's place for the party? He asks, all confidence. I smiled my best PTA smile and told him, sorry, sweetheart, this is my home, not Leo's. There's no pool party here today. I pointed to the empty yard. They stared, blinking, realizing there wasn't so much as a puddle. You could feel the confusion spreading like a cold front. Meanwhile, Leo is across the street in neon trunks all ready for Instagram. Karen's behind him with a tray of drinks waving like she's running for mayor. Then the herd of kids crosses over and the look on Leo's face when he sees my bone-dry pool, priceless. Karen's smile cracked for the first time in recorded history. The party fizzled before it began. There were rumors and grumbles, a few dirty looks, and a lot of disappointed teens who realized there would be no bash of the summer at Sarah's house. I thought maybe, just maybe, that'd be the end. But if you've ever tangled with someone like Karen, you know it's never that simple. The next week, things got weird. First, a handwritten sign appeared at the park bulletin board warning neighbor known for spiteful actions. Avoid 1422 Sycamore Lane. No name, just our address. Petty, but whatever. Then my car started making this god-awful squeal. Turns out someone had nicked the brake lines just enough to let air in. Could have been deadly if I'd taken the highway. The mechanic shook his head. Ma'am, this looks like tampering. Now I was rattled. I called the cops, filed a report, but you know how it goes. No witnesses, no fingerprints. Just maybe install some cameras, ma'am. So we did. Next things, I'm getting anonymous calls all hours. Just silence and a hang-up. I started jumping at every sound, double-checking locks, scanning the street every time I left the house. It was like living in a thriller, but without the luxury of commercial breaks. And the rumors kept spreading, Karen telling anyone who'd listened that I'd emptied the pool out of spite, ruined Leo's big day, hated her precious orchids, you name it. Even sweet Mrs. Henderson, who bakes for half the block, showed up with a worried look, telling me Karen said I'd moved her plants just to be mean. I nearly laughed, but I could see she was torn, unsure who to believe. But then finally a break. Security footage caught Leo's girlfriend Tiffany, recognizable by her bright cheerleading hoodie with a hummingbird on the back, slashing Mark's tire in the middle of the night. It wasn't just suspicion anymore, it was proof. But here's the thing, if we ran straight to the cops, Karen would just claim it was teenage hijinks, nothing to do with her. Tiffany was a pawn, and Karen would toss her aside the second things got real. So I played it slow. I found Tiffany at the local coffee shop looking jumpy as a squirrel in hunting season. I sat with her real gentle and told her about the cameras, about the tire, about how I knew how tough it was when you're trying to please the wrong people. She cracked. Between tears, she admitted Karen had pressured her into it, even given her the knife. That was all we needed. We went to the police this time with everything: videos, the mechanic's report, Tiffany's statement. Suddenly, we weren't just that neighbor anymore. The officer who'd shrugged us off before was all business now. Investigation opened, formal statements, the whole works. Of course, Karen didn't go quietly. She went nuclear online, posted a victim narrative in the neighborhood Facebook group, painted herself as the wounded party, blamed us for bullying teenagers. But I countered with cold, hard facts, screenshots of the security footage, a calm post laying out every incident, the proof, the police report number. I didn't get emotional, didn't stoop to her level, just let the truth do its work. And work it did. The fallout was swift. Parents called the school, HOA members circulated emails. Tiffany got community service and probation from the cheer squad. Leo got suspended for a week. But Karen, she was forced to resign from every committee, every board, the HOA itself. Her phone rang non-stop, not with support, but with angry questions. Her network of influence unraveled overnight. A few weeks later, I watched from my now peaceful, refilled pool as a moving truck pulled up to Karen's house. She looked smaller, paler than I'd ever seen her, dressed in sweats instead of her usual pastels. Leo loaded boxes, head down. No more bravado, no more games. They left in silence, slipping out of Meadow Creek the way you'd leave a crime scene. I stood there, wet hair dripping, Mark beside me, watching the last truck disappear around the corner. "It's over," he said, squeezing my hand, but honestly, I don't know if anything's ever really over in a place like this. The pool sparkled in the dusk, finally ours again, but the whole thing made me wonder how many Karens are out there still fighting to control the narrative, still making their neighbors miserable in the name of community standards. So, yeah, justice was served, but I gotta ask, where's the line between standing up for yourself and becoming just as bad as the person you're fighting? Did I win? Or did the whole neighborhood just lose something you can't get back? Let me know what you think, because I'm still trying to figure it out myself. Ever had a neighbor like that? Drop your story in the comments. Seriously, I want to know who you think was right and what you'd have done if you were in my shoes.